Ghost of Tsushima was hands down the absolute best game of 2020. There's nothing touching it. Nothing on any platform was touching that game. Fast forward a year and a month or two, here we are again. Except this time it's the director's cut with way more content and incredibly overhauled graphics, which are just even better than what they were before. And guess what? Not only is it available for the PlayStation 5, but for you PlayStation 4 owners out there, which is the majority of people that will be playing this, it's also available to you too. Let's get into it. Before we kick this video off, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Sony for providing me a review copy of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for the PlayStation 5. As you guys know, I played and loved the original when it came out on PlayStation 4, and it was one of my top games of the year, if not the top game of the year for me for 2020. And now here we are again with this game. And I know a lot of people have been getting tired of the whole remasters, remakes. A lot of people are feeling like this is just showing that the gaming industry just doesn't have anything original to throw at you. Here's the thing. When you get a game that's the game of the year, you remaster it. There's a reason you're remastering it, obviously to make more money and make more money out of it, but also because maybe there were some, limitations with the hardware that you put the game on originally. Maybe there were some, tweaks you wanted to make but couldn't. Maybe there were some things that you just couldn't do, but you wanted to. And in this case, this game takes full advantage of the PlayStation 5. It also pushes the PlayStation 4 to the limit. Both the base, well, three ways. The base, the Slim, and the PlayStation 4 Pro. It just pushes them to the limit. And it basically, a lot of games that have been coming out on PlayStation 4 within the last 2-3 years prior to, the PlayStation 5 coming out have really shown that they were really meant to be PlayStation 5 games, but they showcased the capability of the PlayStation 4. And going into this game on PlayStation 5, man, if you've got a 4K TV with HDR capability, yeah, I'm just blown away. Anyways, in this video, we're going to do a review of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. If you're new to the channel, aloha, welcome to my channel. I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator, and if you're having a good time so far, hey, why not hit the like button, subscribe to the channel also. If you've come around many times before and you like my podcast, my impressions, my reviews, my reactions, and the general content that we put out here, and if you haven't subbed already, go ahead and do that. Also, if you want to support what we do, you got merch, you got Patreon, you got channel memberships, all that, links in the description below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this review of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Story. The story of Ghost of Tsushima stars lone samurai Jin Sakai on the island of Tsushima in the year 1274, as he is one of the island's last known samurai during the Mongols' first invasion of Japan. During this time, the Mongol Empire had been conquering country after country with their weaponry and military tactics that were unknown to all whom encountered them. The Mongols setting their sights on conquering Japan and pillaging the land, all that stands between them and conquest is Jin, who is the last surviving member of his clan. Jin struggles to maintain the way of the samurai and the code of Bushido, as he comes to the realization that the ways of the sword that he has been trained in are ultimately ineffective against such a ruthless and barbaric force, and thus he must learn the ways of the ghost, which is a fighting style that is unconventional in the face of traditional kenjutsu, and use it to defeat the Mongols and protect the island of Tsushima and ultimately the entirety of Japan. Gameplay. One word of advice I have for you is to please take your time with this game. There's absolutely no need to rush through this game, as while you can beat this within about 45 hours or so, or about 50 to 60, probably more along the lines of 70 to 80 hours, since this is the director's cut with additional content. So if you just go after the main story, yeah, you can probably do it in 45 to 50 hours. The amount of side quests that you can experience will extend that gameplay. There's simply so much to explore and experience in this game that you'll find yourself immersed in the world and losing track of the hours that pass. The gameplay in Tsushima is very fun and fluid while being focused on fluid swordplay. You'll find battles unfolding in incredibly lifelike situations that will have you switching your stance on the fly to acclimate both to the environments that you're in as well as the enemies that you'll be facing, from bandits, samurai, ronins, and the main villains being the Mongols. You have a fast attack, heavy attack, and that you can charge and can block, which allows you to parry attacks. The various stances that you have vary from being effective against one-on-one fights as well as one versus many, and even unlock stances from defeated various Mongols that allow you to take on shield-bearing enemies, spear wielders, and more as you switch on the fly in mid-combat. Ghost of Tsushima will have enemies being relentless in how they want to cleave your head from your shoulders by going after you in massive groups, oftentimes forcing you to run and hide, or even if you hide, they will continue to hunt you down. This is probably the most realistic enemy AI I've seen in the game thus far. There's the ghost tools that are not as honorable to use, such as smoke bombs, kunai, black powder bombs, and more, that give you an upper hand in combat. The best way to describe the ghost mechanic is that it's psychological warfare to strike fear in your enemies by utilizing either stealth or your equipment to kill as many of them as possible and utilize theatrical and brutal killings. The standoff mechanic allows you to issue a challenge to your opponents and is a way to gain resolve points, which allow you to utilize special attacks, and is very much rooted in the real life way that samurai fought in feudal Japan. Duels are one-on-one with you and the boss, utilizing everything from your kenjutsu, your kiai, and swordsman spirit. Duels feature different camera angles that give you a cinematic view of your battle with the bosses that you are engaging in, and because of how duels are handled, you won't have access to the ghost mechanics and tools. You can do various mini-games such as following characters to shrines, writing haikus, and even practicing Aido by cutting bamboo, which boosts your various stats. The skill tree system is incredibly in-depth, with options to help you with exploration, stealth, and ghost methods and more. There's a tremendous amount of armor that gives you different buffs, and you can change their cosmetic looks and more. Then there's Isle of Iki to explore, which continues the story of Jin and his battles as a samurai, along with the multiplayer mode allowing you to fight with honor or dishonor with several friends. There's so much to this game that I honestly won't say more, as I really want you all to experience this majestic experience on your own. Graphics. Tsushima looked phenomenal when it launched last year on the PlayStation 4, and it didn't matter whether you ran this game on the base PS4 or the PS4 Pro because it was so well optimized and always looked great. A year later, and it's now available on PlayStation 5, and it not only runs at native 4K, but at a locked 60 frames per second, it has an even higher level of graphical fidelity than the original release. The game has a level of detail that rivals everything on the market right now, with the character models looking lifelike, with muscle inflections, skin blemishes, and scars, and even individual strands of hair and facial hair and eyebrows. I haven't seen a game go to this level of detail to blur the lines of making a game look not like a game, if that makes any sense. The presentation of cutscenes, from ink brush drawings with narration to the flowing of grass and cherry blossom trees, and the fog from waterfalls and more are all photorealistic and atmospheric. Cutscenes utilize a cinematic letterbox style that brings you back to the days of cinematic samurai movies such as Akira Kurosawa's films like Senjuro from 1962 and Seven Samurai from 1954, and even The Last Samurai and more. The island of Tsushima is jaw-dropping, with its flora and fauna looking simply majestic. I haven't seen nature look so beautiful in a game before, and to give an example, there are times when you're running in the forest with the wind blowing, with leaves flying around, and dust kicking up with a red setting or rising sun. And just imagine running around in that kind of environment with no loading screens to generate these effects. It is simply jaw-dropping. Audio. The one word to describe this would be majestic. Everything from the sound of steel on steel and steel on bone sounds as realistic as you'd imagine they'd sound. The ambience of nature, such as the rustling of grass and even the flowing of the wind and rain, waterfalls falling down cliffs, and the voice acting are all just majestic and have set a new standard for what we should expect in cinematic games such as these. Sucker Punch did so well with the audio that during gameplay you can utilize audio cues to know where enemies are coming from and attacking, as well as where flying arrows are coming at you, and if you pay close attention enough, then you can use this to your advantage. Downsides. Let me just be completely honest with you. I got nothing. This game is just stellar. That's how good this game is. I got nothing for the downsides, so let's keep it moving. The wrap up. Remasters are most definitely a reality when it comes to games these days, as many will release, and in a year of that release it will have a remaster with more content. Many hate this, and yet others accept it as a norm of gaming. So, when the magnum opus of samurai games in Ghost of Tsushima that is head and shoulders above anything that is on the market gets a remaster and director's cut, then honestly I'm all for it, especially when I get more content overall. If you're looking for another game to play on your PlayStation 5, then Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is, from top to bottom, one of the most fun and engaging games of the year. And if you got a PlayStation 4, don't feel left out because you can play this also on the PlayStation 4. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is a game you simply must own if you're a PlayStation 4 or 5 owner. Get this game now. That's it. That's a review for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Again, shout out to Sony for providing a review copy of the game. And honestly, I want to know what your thoughts are. Are you excited to dive back into the Isle of Tsushima and the shoes of Jin Sakai? Are you, have you been waiting, like, a lot of us, we typically tend to wait about a year after a game comes out to get it on discount, only this time it's a completely, upgraded version of the game. Are you one of those people that waited, or are you just not impressed and you don't feel like there's enough to warrant playing this game or diving into for the first time? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going down below in the comment section. And if you want to take it further, we do have Discord as well as Guilded. Links for those in the description below. If you want to pick up this game, I do have Amazon and Best Buy affiliate links available so you can purchase at no additional cost to you, but it does give me a kickback and helps out the channel overall. And if you want to directly help the channel and the content that we make here, we do have merch. We've got merch on Teespring, on TeePublic. We have channel memberships and Patreon as well. Those are all in links down below, and every little bit helps, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate those of you who are supporting the content that we make here. So all that being said, I'm Mekel Kasanova. I'm signing out. I hope you guys have a great one. Deuces wow, too sweet, be the elite. I hope to see you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate your support by those of you who like the videos, who watch them, who subscribe. And for those of you who are my Patreon supporters, thank you for your continued support because you help make this possible. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support what we do have Patreon on patreon.com/Mekel Kasanova. We also have Coffee as well as Subscribestar. So there's various methods if you want to support the work that we do here. We also have channel membership, so make sure you check that out. That way you get up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes here, and first, and exclusive content as well. And if you enjoy the work that I do and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator. I hope to see you on the next one. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell. And all that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.